What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Friday 13 game main slate. Big slate to end the work week here. Maybe some weather in New York. They've been dealing with some weather all week, obviously, with the hurricane moving up the East Coast here, Texas and New York. Doesn't look like it's impacting the Boston game. That rain, that weekend forecast is kind of cleared up a little bit. So we'll have to check out and see. We also may have some rain in Colorado. We have Atlanta in Colorado this weekend here. So that's something also to note as we talk about this slate. From a pitching standpoint, it's kind of interesting. We have some good matchups. We have a lot of bad pitching. So we'll see where we go and who we target. How was you feeling about some initial looks here, James?
I'm pretty sure this Yankees game is not going to play. Aaron Boone spoke to reporters on Thursday before their Thursday game, and was not optimistic whatsoever.
Sure.
So, I know that Tropical Storm Debbie is going up the East Coast, right? And I believe that.
So they went by your house. You're raving, saying
Yep, they did stop by. Stopped by and is peacing out to the Northeast. So, I mean, it's an interesting slate. Obviously, we have Coors and 13 game slates. That's just not my favorite recipe for a slate, but it does provide obviously a ton of opportunity to potentially look into fading Coors if you want.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive team in Coors Field. Not that they've gotten much of a price bump, but they were expensive to begin with going into Coors, so that necessarily didn't change. So, I mean, it's overall an interesting slate, and let's get into things.
It's 13 games, so we're going to have a lot of players. Obviously, that means there's going to be value. Sometimes that value allows us to spend up at pitching. We got Jack Flaherty here at home against Pittsburgh. He tossed 6 shutout innings. In his last start, 7 strikeouts in that one against Oakland. He had 6 shutout innings in the start before that against Cleveland. He's been fantastic all year. He is going to get absolutely paid this upcoming offseason. Great win equity with the Dodgers. It's all about whether or not you're paying 10-5 for him. Zach Wheeler's right below him. Zach Wheeler's fine, 10-2, but Flaherty, I think I'd rather just pay the $300 more if I had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I would say the thing you get with Wheeler that you probably don't get with Flaherty is depth of games. Wheeler's coming off a start where he went 8. I'm not sure Flaherty's completed 7 innings once this year. So that would be my one lean towards Wheeler. Obviously, Wheeler has the tougher matchup against Arizona. Arizona has the best record in baseball over their last 20 games.
Ketel Marte is an absolute
demon
right now.
That offense, and they're just buzzing. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely lean Flaherty a little bit over Wheeler, and I really don't like the rest of the tier in general. I mean,
no, I think the mid AK tier, there's a lot of good spots to go to.
Agreed.
We got Bryce Miller at home against the Mets. I know the Mets have obviously been a stronger offense this year, generally against lefties. They're coming out of Coors, where they had a huge series, obviously. But we like Seattle pitchers at home more often than not. Robbie Ray home against Detroit. I like that matchup for him, $8,600. Bounce back nicely from that tough Oakland start against Cincinnati. 9 strikeouts in 5 innings there for him in Cincinnati. So obviously, a little bit of a tougher park. Gave up 2 homers. He gave it 3 homers before. I guess we'll wait and see if home runs are going to be an issue for Robbie Ray. So far, not looking great. But a red-hot Oakland team tagged him. Cincinnati got a couple of solo shots off him. Home ballpark for him here. Maybe a better opportunity for him. Jameson Taillon against the White Sox, I think is interesting at $8,200 as well. So really any of those 3 guys for me, I think you could plug.
Yeah, I have no difference in opinions. I think Ray has the highest ceiling of the 3 because of the strikeouts.
Yep.
I could see Taillon being the highest rostered of the 3 because he just simply has the matchup against the White Sox.
Yeah, White Sox are terrible, obviously. Crochet's not even going deep into games anymore. Yeah. So, I'm not even too concerned about the Cubs offense here. Miller obviously faces the toughest lineup, but he's been good at home there. If you're going under $8,000, any targets for you here?
I mean, I think Quintana is a little bit interesting. Struggled in the Angels start, but had been really good previous to that. The strikeouts are obviously like the one thing that's always kind of eluded him, but he's nearly been a strikeout per inning guy over his last 10 starts. So
Yeah.
I like the price
Do
and the
the road
ballpark.
home splits worry you at all? Full ERA a run higher on the road?
I mean, yes, but you're now like we should probably be baking in that Seattle is the premier pitching spot
Yeah.
in baseball, right? So like yes, obviously he's been worse on the road, but he's now pitching in the best ballpark for pitching in the league. So I think that kind of like cancels itself out where yeah, he may be struggling, but I'm perfectly fine getting there.
Okay.
Carson Spires has been solid for the Reds. I like getting him out of Cincinnati.
Milwaukee just hung like I think
100
it's like
runs.
six. I think it was
It was a
60
lot.
hits over the 3-game series
So
against
many,
the
so many
Braves.
hits.
Like,
Like,
that's my concern there. Just
I
him
mean,
going into Milwaukee.
find something for me because
Well,
like
but that's my thing. It is 13 games. I don't know if there is something for you.
Savale getting Cincinnati out of Cincinnati
Yeah,
is like a little bit interesting. We'll
possibly.
see what Brent Herter is going to do. I mean, I have to assume there's some type of limitation. He got called up, pitched 3 innings and 36 pitches in his debut. Like it's a good spot. The Giants strike out a lot against lefties. So like if we found out that Herter was not going to be limited at all, like if there's no pitch count, like there would be mild interest there just because he's so cheap. There's not a lot of value, but not necessarily. This would be a spot that I would take a shot on something like an Edward Cabrera. I know this is not a good spot for
Oh,
strikeouts, but
they do not strike out.
if you look at like a lot of the Cabrera underlying metrics, he's been largely unlucky. And obviously things have turned around for him a little bit of late. The strikeouts have been great. That's just been what gives. Is it the strikeouts that he get, or is the ones that San Diego just don't allow? So there's
Right.
a little give or take there.
Yeah, for sure. I would say I mean, it's probably an obvious no, but we've played some Ryan Nelson of late. The strikeout numbers have been pretty good for him. Obviously got hit a little bit on the road there against Pittsburgh. He doesn't give up home runs. So like there's always the chance that like the Phillies just hit a whole bunch of ground balls into the dirt and things like that, and he just manages to escape damage. Peripheral numbers on him are a little bit better than the overall production. And again, last 10 games been pretty solid. I would just consider throwing him out there. If you go over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching, Phillies average 308 WOBA, 235 batting average. Those are just kind of bottom half. Obviously, a lot of power. That's going to happen when you have Kyle Schwarber and all that crew in there. So, but this is a guy again that doesn't give up home runs. So,
Another what gives situation because like
what gives and we've said that on him a lot. He has had again Pittsburgh, Washington, Kansas City, Chicago, Toronto. Not not terrible matchups in terms of like toughness. He went into San Diego and into LA and basically shut them both down. One earned and no earned in those two starts. So it's not like he hasn't faced tough competition and come out on the better end of it. I think at $5,600, I'd be willing to give a little look at Ryan Nelson here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've talked about Philly struggles outside of Schwarber. It's been largely Schwarber centric for them. So I'm not against it because we also we're sitting here giving suggestions. Like if you're not comfortable forcing it, there's plenty of good options in the
Oh
8K
yeah,
tier that we could just build
you
with.
live in the 8K
So
range, play 2 of the 3, or spend up for one of the guys and pair with the 8K. You definitely don't need to go down. We
right.
talked Quintana, could certainly test that out for sure. I'm just talking if you're getting dirty with it, you're making 20 lineups. If you had to give me a guy under 7K to play, yeah, you mentioned Cabrera for the possible strikeout upside. Padres don't strike out a ton. Giants do strike out a lot against lefties, but Ryan Nelson, at least his current form wise, has been pretty strong. So
Right.
that'd be my one play.
Okay.
Catcher again, 13 games, so we'll figure it out as we go along here. Obviously, Boston being at home, you tend to kind of lean a little bit into the Red Sox lineup. So whether it's Danny Jansen who hit his first home run as a Red Sox the other day, or Connor Wong, they're both going to hit generally in the middle of the lineup, assuming they're both in. Jansen may sit this one out, but with Tyler O'Neill on the IL, there's a chance that they just keep plugging him in into the lineup to kind of get that power righty bat in there. So them for some options. What about you?
The Boston guys, as you mentioned, Alejandro Kirk, still too cheap. If you want to punt, Christian Vasquez gets outs. Cobb making his debut. Bo Naylor, 2,500 is potentially a cheap home run.
Against Louis Varland. Yeah. Could be a good Cleveland day.
Good. Yeah, it could be a good Cleveland day. I mean, they also kind of stink against righties, but obviously they have a lot of good talented lefties.
Yeah. First base again, 13 game slate. So it's just everybody's there, right? Everybody is available. Otani versus Keller. Goldschmidt gets Lorenzen, Harper, Nelson, and Freeman also there. Olsen in Coors at $5,300. Vladdy gets Mitch Spence. Salvi against Michaelis. Where are you looking to go? Are we spending up at first base here today?
I mean, you can. I don't think there's necessarily a bad option. The Goldie price is a little curious to me. I would say that stands out more than anything else. Why is Paul Goldschmidt?
Yeah, I would not touch him with a 10-foot stick. So
I know this is like the right split against Lorenzen, but there's just no chance you can convince me to pay that when you can pay for Olsen in Coors Field. Or Vladdy against Spence, who, Vladdy's been like one of the
he's hitting
best players
500
in
over the
baseball.
last
Yeah.
so.
And that stretched out like weeks. He's hitting 500 over the last like multiple weeks. So I would say those two for me, but it's also like I dip below, and then you can look at Pasquantino again, who's just on a power surge, homered again on the Wednesday.
There's also a chance that Tristan Casas is back on this one. We don't have a note on it, but they mentioned during the Red Sox broadcast the other day that there was a chance that he may actually just be activated for Friday because he's been on fire during his rehab stint. No official word yet, but be on the lookout possibly for that. Homestand, obviously they've been playing in Worcester, so it's not like a difficult move to get him. It's like an hour outside the city to move him into Boston. So something to watch for. You could have an activated Tristan Casas for this homestand. 49. Love the Pasquantino call. Naylor against Varland at $4,700 as well. Obviously stands out here. Isaac Paredes versus a lefty. I know Crochet's been, still not really giving up a ton when he's out there, but could have that as well in the 4K range.
Yeah, I mean, Paredes is good against lefties. I don't know if this is the lefty to match him up with. Also, we don't even know how long Crochet is going to be. And he threw 77 pitches last time out. Is that expanded upon? Is that just where he's going to settle into, considering this is the most innings he's ever thrown? So I'm indifferent about Paredes. He'll get, if he gets to him early, he gets to him early. I'm definitely, I mean, Jake Berger, 4,200, is just on one of those power assaults right now where everything he hits leaves the yard.
You don't think Martin Perez is going to get it done here? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think Martin Perez is necessarily that good. He has been good, I guess, his last 2 starts. In his debut for San Diego, he was good. But I'd be willing to bet on the Burger Man, considering how good he's been of late.
Okay. Anybody else for you as we work our way down?
If Mark Canha's going to be in the lineup with a lefty on the mound, so he is viable to be pinch hit for, but he didn't get a pinch hit for on Thursday slate, even when a lefty came out of the game, and they were rewarded by keeping him in the game because he had a 3-run double in extra innings to break the tie. So, or in the 9th inning, rather, I should say. So Canha, 3,700 first outfield eligibility. I like that. Dom Smith, I guess, if you're playing Boston. Ibanez against a lefty, even though he's been really bad, he's been specifically good against lefties. Justin Turner's back. He'll be in the lineup, in the middle of the lineup, hitting against lefties. He's been good against lefties all year prior to the trade to Seattle. So
get a Dom Smith there at 3K, right? Same price tag.
Yep.
Did you go the Jonah Bride route?
If you're playing Miami.
Okay. Still hitting. I mean, like we joked on him, but I mean, he's still
hitting.
2 hits in 2 of the last 3. Like, yeah.
Still hitting.
Yeah. All right. Second base, again, super loaded position here. Marte, hottest hitter in the world, is 5,900. Been a really tough matchup against Wheeler. Altuve, we'll see what goes on with the Boston starters. Cutter Crawford was exactly what we thought he was going to be last night, which was very bad. Tanner Houck has had some similar struggles of late. That was the biggest concern with the Red Sox pitching, was like they've never thrown this many innings. These guys here, and they had already exceeded their max inning caps from previous years. It seems like they're now all starting to wear their arms out here. So you got Houston versus Houck in that spot. What else do we think? Hamilton, 45, will probably be in the lineup against Blanco.
Yeah, you're definitely more high on the Boston guys. Not that I think Blanco's great, but I
was gonna say, are we gonna go through this again? You have the Red Sox in home versus a righty.
I'm just not gonna pay 4,500 for David.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just throwing him out there as a general mention. He might not even be in the lineup. They still have Emmanuel Valdez up. It could very well be him instead. So,
Terang 41.
Sure.
He led off. Yeah, Michael Massey. He didn't homer, but another good game at a leadoff spot. Donovan, wrong split. Stott, wrong split. I don't think the Yankees game's going to play. Glaber's been good against lefties, so
yeah. Good. Gavin Lux, 3,400.
Gavin Lux, 34 feels good. He's been
no Baltimore on this slate, so no Jackson Holiday to go to today.
That's unfortunate. Casey Schmidt's in the lineup against a lefty. That's fine. Sogard for punt. And it's all.
Yep. Third base, Jose Ramirez, Rafi Devers, Austin Riley, your top 3. Mentioned, obviously, don't think the Yankees game is going to go, but you got Machado, Vladdy, and Chapman versus a lefty there as well. Royce Lewis coming in at 5K.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, merit to getting any of the top 3. Ramirez has been really good, especially in the power department. Devers is really good. And Riley coming off a home run in, I believe, back-to-back games. So going into Coors hot is a good thing. So I'd probably lean Riley as my top guy over 5K.
Okay.
But I also do acknowledge, and 5,100 is very expensive for Matt Chapman, but he has been awesome lately and does get a lefty. Last time we saw him play against a lefty, he homered in that Washington spot.
Mid-tier options, we got Jose Miranda versus righty and Cobb making his debut as well, $4,500. I know that had been a matchup we would like to target this year.
I didn't realize Royce is 5K, by the way. I didn't mean to skip over him. I just kind of didn't think he would be 5,000.
I know you're in on Royce Lewis all the time, so
it's insane.
A lot of power.
$5,000 is, that's
Well, no arguments with me here. Ryan McMahon Coors against Holmes. Burgers, you mentioned, has third base eligibility. If the Yankees game does go, Josh Young against a lefty at $4,200. Looking pretty good. Excuse me there. Value plays Moore versus a lefty and Quintana's 34. Got Wisdom versus Crochet if he's in the lineup.
DeYoung 3,000 has been good against righties. That's been his.
Yeah.
That's been the split for him.
And Novelli all the way down to 29, huh?
Yeah, he's
Ernie
been.
Clement, our boy, 2,800.
Yeah, he's good, dude. He's just hitting right atop the lineup like every night. So
Yeah.
productive every night.
Yep, I'm in on that for sure. Anything else down here?
Mm-mm.
Not really, right?
No,
Shortstops. Bobby Witt is really, really, really good. Closing the betting gap, by the way, on Aaron Judge.
I did. I saw that. That's because nobody pitches there in Judge anymore. I don't know why they do to Bobby Witt, but also you don't. I guess if you don't pitch to Bobby Witt, he just steals. So kind of have to pitch to him, right? It's catch 22.
I mean, he is unbelievable. So, yeah, really pick your poison there. Witt or Ellie, more than okay here. Fitzgerald at 5K is expensive.
It
But it
is, but like it is a lefty. He also had like on the Thursday slate 2 stolen bases in that game, so like he can run too. It's not just like
Yeah.
the power; it's the speed too. If you're playing the Giants, he's gonna lead off, and you should have Tyler Fitzgerald. And if you're not playing the Giants, like you don't need to play him because there's also like a lot of other elite.
Adamas at home versus righty is 49. Tovar's been good lately at $4,600. Some power there. Xavier Edwards at 44 against Perez.
Yeah, he has been. The Marlins are interesting. I mean, they're a cheap, not as cheap as they were because they have like produced.
Well, they don't have
pretty high
stars,
clip.
right? Like this is like their most expensive player.
Well, even Berger now over 4K because they've been good. So I'd be okay getting Edwards and like playing him, pairing him and Jake Berger together.
Sure. You have Ceddanne Rafaela there at 41. Volpe, if that game plays, has been unreal. He should not be an under 4K play.
No.
You'd be getting great value on him if that ends up holding out here. Let's see. You've been in on Arcia. Does that continue for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's $3,700 and gets a righty. That's been the sweet spot for Orlando Arcia, and obviously in the best stretch of his season. Plus, you're putting him in the middle. He's hitting 5th for this lineup, so you're getting a 5-hitter at 3,700 going into cores. You know he's gonna be an extremely popular play.
Punt play with Nick Sogard, assuming he's still in the lineup again. I'm just throwing more Red Sox out at you. Any other short thoughts for you?
I don't think so.
Okay, Perdomo homered again, by the way. So, All-Star, 2023 All-Star.
He is a 2023 All-Star. That is correct.
Yeah. Outfield. Thoughts on your favorite spend-ups here?
Yankees are obviously in play if they do play. Jordan. My only problem with Houston, even though Tanner Houck has like struggled, there's still just no power coming from the bats, right? Like it's singles and doubles. I mean, Tanner Houck's allowed 8 home runs this year, so it's hard to like want to stack Houston. I guess if I were to play anyone, it's Jordan. You could play Duran. Probably not in on Reynolds. Obviously, you could play Schwarber with how good. I mean, he was 57. Was that the most fantasy points anyone scored this year? Has Ellie had a 57 fantasy point game? I think 57 might have been the most.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, I mean, it was close. So definitely would play him. Corby's been good. I'd be okay getting to Profar if you're stacking there.
Sure.
Soler at 5K he's bound to hit a 700-foot home run in core.
Yeah, in Corham and Doyle, obviously on the other side, 51. Ramos gets lefty and harder. Rosa Reyna versus Quintana is 46.
Yeah, it's odd.
Let's see.
Weiler, Friedel, Burleson, Jackson Merrill, double down the other day.
Been really good. It is the wrong split side for him, but he's been really good. You love Jackson Merrill call. Yoshida's been super hot lately for Red Sox as well. Wallner against Cobb.
We'll see what the Braves do. They led Kelnick was back in the leadoff spot on Thursday.
Okay.
Soler didn't play, so I assume Soler just plugs back in.
Goes back in, yeah. Lawrence Butler against Berrios, 38. I know he's been cooling off a little bit. Jackson Chourio was a monster on Thursday. 2 homers in that game. Back-to-back 3-hit games for him. He's hitting 400, 390 over the last 10.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Can definitely plug him in against Spires here.
Yeah, he's absolutely ridiculous.
Let's see. What else do we like?
Wenzel Perez, if you're stacking against probably one of the more popular plays in Robbie Ray. Melendez, 32. Robles, 31. McNeil, 31. Nootbaar, 31.
The McNeil price is kind of interesting, right? Given how well he has played lately to just be 3K.
Gerard Encarnacion, $2,900. He's been really good.
Yeah,
And
you've called him a few times, and he keeps producing.
the power is going to come, too. That's the good thing is he's hitting, and the power hasn't come, and it's going to come. So I'd be good getting to him.
All right. Let's build a lineup. Are we just doubling up in the 8K range? Did you want to spend up? Did you want to go down? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think doubling up in the 8K range makes sense.
All right. So Ray and who? Miller, Tyon?
What do you think? Probably Tyon.
So Tyon feels like the safer play here.
I feel like there's more win equity with Tyon.
I would agree with you. All right, 4150 then. So you mentioned Kirk. I do like that's value. Where is he now? 3,200. Good doing that. All right. What's our number one spend up for the slate?
Number one spend up. I mean, it's hard to not like Ozuna or Olsen or Riley or whoever.
Are we getting Atlanta in? Is that what we're doing?
There's always like that trepidation from like going to Coors after it fails for like 2 slates, and then it's not on the main slate, and the Mets score 9 runs. Right? It's like that's usually how that goes. But I'm good with really any direction if it's Coors or not, because again, there's no slate better to fade Coors than a 13-game slate. You just have to peg the.
You got to get the right value.
Yeah, you just have to have the correct alt stack, because there's a lot of games, and you fade Coors.
We did Riley, Arcia, Ozuna.
Yep.
Or we could just 2-man, and I think we could probably play Clement here at shortstop, right? 2,800.
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost prefer Arcia, but the Clement obviously is the better. He's obviously the better value.
Yeah, because there's not like there's not like a lot of value. Like Gavin Lux here, I guess. You think Whit Merrifield could be in a spot? He's actually been playing.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably play because they're just not playing Nacho.
Yeah,
Nacho is so bad,
we could pivot. We could pivot to there and get us another Coors exposure, and that gives us 4,100 for first and 2 outfielders. I mentioned Chorio's 37. Was there another like cheap outfielder that you liked?
Melendez.
Yeah, Melendez works, and that gives us a 54 first baseman, which I think would be Olsen. Just full stack Atlanta here, full core stack. Olsen, Merrifield, Riley, Ozuna.
Yep.
No complaints.
None.
Ray, Tyon, Kirk, Olsen, Merrifield, Riley, Clement, Ozuna, Chourio, and Melendez, giving us an Atlanta stack in cores, a 2-man Toronto, 1 off Milwaukee, 1 off Kansas City. Ray and Tyon in the mid-tier. I'll be on your playbook for Friday, so be on the lookout for that. Here's an example lineup for all of you to follow. We'll be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you have any questions, get in the Discord. Follow us on Twitter. We appreciate all of your support. You hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll be back later. Good luck.